Wiggity, 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 what's up, gamers and game fans alike? Mayhem here, coming at you from Satisfactory, the factory building game. Oh, I love this one, and I spent some time off camera yesterday upgrading the walls in our new constructor room. They're just a little bit nicer, some cosmetic changes. Am I done with that? No, I'll probably keep fiddling, but I'm happy about it. Thanks for joining me again in this next episode where today we're going to take on the assembler floor above the constructor floor where we make more complex parts from simpler parts. And this is going to be a fun one because I now have a much clearer idea of what I want to do than I did in the last episode. I wanted to mention one thing that I got wrong in my video yesterday. I had said at the end that we were producing wire at a rate of 120 per minute. That's incorrect. We have 8 constructors producing 30 wire per minute as an output. That's 240. So actually twice as much as I had mentioned. Enough about those constructors though. Today's purpose is to fix up the assembly floor. All of these assemblers and this spaghetti here with the input lines running high and low and back around on themselves, this has to go. This floor is inefficient and it's time to be updated. Look, we even tried producing the steel and iron right here on site. What an absolute mess this is. Grab your coffees and get sipping, because now the work begins. We have to clean up this entire mess, and it's gonna take a good couple of minutes, I should think. I'm gonna tear down the rest of this. The whole floor is going to get torn down. I'm probably even going to tear out the floor because we need to make room for our conveyor system between the constructors and the assemblers. Only thing left up here are the storage containers, which I will manually relocate once we know where we're going to put the buffer storage. It was at this point that I should have realized I was making a big mistake. I planned on removing the floor and making it taller. Just wait, as I completely neglect to do that and ruin my whole day. Wow, that manufacturer is no joke. Look at this thing. It's huge. Wow. Yep, this is going to be a lot of math because all these things are downstream of something else. Very, very few of these components are single process. Crystal oscillators, reinforced iron plates. I don't know what beacons are. I think it said somewhere they're deprecated. They're gonna be taken out of the game soon. I don't know. I'm not sure yet. Say, okay, we're producing 5 per minute, and we need 3 per minute for modular frames. We need 2 per minute for smart plating. Let's see, did anything here require those specifically? Yes. 2.5 per minute, so that's 7.5. So I guess I could get away with 2 assemblers. Alright, I'm gonna do the math. This is going to take a while. I built a spreadsheet to keep track of everything I was going to need, and I'm actually going to need a lot more than I thought just to produce a small surplus of each individual thing. For example, the production of reinforced plates alone is going to require 10 assemblers. Rotor production is going to require 4 assemblers. Modular frames are going to need 11 assemblers. 2 for smart plating, 1 for versatile framework, and 4 for encased industrial beams. 1 for motors, 7 for automated wiring, 2 for heavy modular frame. Wait. Nope. heavy modular frame is actually the manufacturer. Just one more set of 3. So we'll add 1 to this group. And these are the required assemblers for our factory. Mistakes have been made. If we take a look-see right here now, I'm building the roof for my lower level here, the constructor level, and I got so excited about all the information input that I did yesterday, I forgot to check the height of the assembler floor. So it might be that this floor is too close to the constructor floor, and I won't have room for installing my conveyor system. Basically, I have to decide now, am I going to tear down all of the assemblers that I just installed? And I didn't just install the assemblers. I'll put it right there. I also put in the floor holes and the lifters. So this is, I mean, it's not that difficult to remove. It's just super annoying because I meant to plan for this problem, and I neglected to entirely. So, I think I'm going to finish installing the ceiling for the constructor level, and then I'll probably tear out all those assemblers and raise the floor by a few meters, because one of the things that's going to happen with the assemblers is, but this floor is going to be moving all of the different products of constructors and assemblers, more or less. That's gonna blow up into a real mess of spaghetti if I don't give myself the room to work. Roof established. I'm going to go for 20 meters. I think that space will be sufficient. It's the amount of space that I used for the lower conveyor floor, and just looking at it, hopefully, I think it'll work. Let's get these containers out of the way. This is kind of satisfying, especially when you get the rhythm right and you can just cruise right along. And there we have it, the assembler layout. They're all pre-programmed to produce what they're meant to produce. All the conveyors are hooked up and everything's looking pretty good. But to be fair, that's the easy part. The hard part is now going to be distributing all the materials where they necessarily need to go. And I'm not exactly positive what the most efficient method of managing that is going to be, but I do have an idea. Oh, that. I need to check and see if I messed that up or not. I have an idea that the best thing to do is going to be to take all the input lines for the assemblers and bring those lifters right on down to floor level. And then they may not stay there permanently, but at least they're established and it'll be easier to hook up mergers and belt lines where I need them. So let's go ahead and just do that. I think everything can use a lifter Mark 1. I hope so, because that's all I put upstairs. So that's all they're going to get down here. And yeah, this is going to take a little while because I can't just click rapidly. I have to drag these babies right down to the ground. That's all my input lines done and dusted. And we're going to worry about the output after we get the assemblers running. It'll be a little bit easier for my head, I think. I might also worry about them when the outputs become necessary to feed some of these inputs. So right now, not on my mind. But in order to move forward in this project, I do need to decide how I'm going to get all the different products of this floor up to the next floor. Let's go ahead and have a look at what that is going to be. There's the very real problem that my current outputs are not anywhere near sufficient. So whatever I bring up there right now with the materials I'm currently producing is going to be about half as much input as is required. So let's say I bring 5 lifters up to the next floor. I might eventually need 10 or more, or slightly less. I don't know. I don't know things. Let's see. These are a little bit in the way of what I would like to do. So I would like to send my lifters straight up through the middle. Let's go ahead and look at what the middle might be. Well, whatever is the middle now won't be later. I have to remind myself that this process is nowhere near as complete as I may have once thought it was. Alright, I think we could get away with it right here. Yep, I think that'll do. Let's count. I'm going to regret this later when I have to redo it. But the simplest thing for me right now is to count 1, 2, 3 output boxes, 4, 5 output boxes, 6, 7, 8 output boxes, 9, 10. And here is what this looks like. I think it's gonna work. I think it's gonna work just fine. We're gonna swatch these guys just to get rid of that orange color because, oops, well, that's fine for now. Because part of what we're doing here is creating like a visual, what am I trying to say here? A point of visual focus, something that's visually interesting. And my concept for that is the purpose of our production floor is to create products that we can then move up to the next production floor. So we've hidden that production in its entirety, but by adding these lifters and facing them out towards the floor, we'll be able to watch the products rise up to their eventual destinations, and that kind of gives us a sense of the factory in motion and a visual indication of the progress we're making. How do I build things? I've forgotten. Let's grab the railing and just give it a go. What do you look like here, sir? This could be really quite cool, actually. Might be better than glass. This feels a little bit more industrial, right? Let's go swatch 2, and I want something fairly yellow and black. Black and yellow, black and yellow. Anybody remember the naughties? Back when I was still in school? Yeah, I like that pretty good. I like that pretty good. I might change this copper color a little bit because, well, first of all, it's somewhat clashing with these railings pretty badly, and I think it may look a little too orange, and I'm trying to move away from the Satisfactory orange. I do like that color in certain applications, but because it's the default for this game, it gets to feeling a little bit bland. I think this is the way to go, and you know what? I'm not convinced on this railing color at all. Let's try toning that down a little bit without it going... Can I tone it down without it going mustard? Ooh, that's kind of a difficult ask. Could try unsaturating it a bit and see what that does. Part of the problem with making subtle color changes in this game is that the colors don't necessarily update right away, so I think that's better. I'm just curious though, what if we save this as like safety yellow and we load safety yellow here and then make this hex 0. That's far better. Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. I think that's chef's kiss. Utter perfection. Let's do black floors. I'm trying to... Uh-oh. What do I do now? I'm trying to create a sort of illusion. I'm aware that I'm not going to fully get an illusion out of this, but the idea of using black in this portion of the build is that it should sort of void out and not be apparent to the eye, because I want the focus to actually be the products moving up the conveyors. So if that's going to be the focus, I should go and get them connected. This is kind of the purpose of having the intermediate floors. Obviously, I want to keep things as organized as possible, but if they have to get a little bit wonky to accomplish some aesthetic goal at another level, a more visual level, I think that's acceptable. That is the reason for the intermediate levels. Let's go have a look at how this appears in the constructor area. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. I think it'll look even better when it's in motion. And I think... I'm still not sure if I want to do glass or not around this. There's a visual thing that happens with glass where it makes whatever's within it appear presented, like it's artwork almost. Glass sort of suggests to the mind this is intended to be looked at, where what we have right now is kind of an in-between of, yeah, obviously it draws the eye, but it might just be factory machines. I think I'll have to wait until it's in motion to actually decide what the final verdict will be. Okay, we're making slow progress here. This is getting to a place now where it's mind-bending for me, because there's so much to manage as far as inputs, outputs, and re-inputs go. But we have some items flowing, so I thought maybe I could take a step back and just have a look, and I think that's quite nice. Getting close to the finish point, but I need to take a small break for mental health reasons, because I've been dug in on this for 4.5 hours, and it's been a lot of very redundant work. However, we did get some of it going here. We've got the reinforced iron plate machines plugged up, and they are functioning, and they're connected. Well, instead of telling you, why don't I just show you? You already know what things look like up here. Pretty clean and simple, not a lot to show off, really. Once you've seen it, you understand the concept. This is the output from the reinforced iron plate machine, and it runs to this container here, which passes through to this line, which produces modular frames. And all of this, of course, feeding through this spaghetti here. The bits from our constructors coming in the line, more or less. I actually think more. I think I've got the whole right side as we're currently looking at it, which would be, what, the south side? That's all functioning right now. And the left side needs to be wired up, and a couple of inputs are missing because they're going to require products from other assemblers. So that's kind of the stopping point. All the constructor products are hooked up, but the assemblers, I haven't networked them together yet. The other limitation besides input rates is power generation. I can increase this, but I think I'd like to, rather than just adding more coal generation, I think I'd like to get into burning oil, which I have not yet unlocked, but I should unlock soon, I think. Am I gonna die? Oh! Close. Very close. Tier 6. Fuel generator. Consumes fuel to generate electricity. And yeah, some of this stuff, half of these costs of this milestone are manufacturer products, which means we're still a ways away from hitting this mark. There will definitely be strategic switching off of assemblers to make sure that we don't overload our power grid. I do have some battery backups, and I suppose there's no reason I couldn't build a bunch more, like 20, or make a small warehouse for backup battery power. And then if we wanted to run all the assemblers at once, we could. But there's reasons enough not to do that. Like, what benefit do you actually get from running off of battery power? The best thing about battery power is that it would prevent your system from shutting down during high demand moments, but you should build your system so it can handle your maximum capacity, I think. It'd be foolish not to. We'll do some strategic switching right now. I'm going to switch off all of these except 2. We'll let 2 of them run. I have installed everything for the assembler level, with the exception of plastic. I have to decide how I'm going to deliver it, and I think I might actually use tractors or trucks, something like that. I haven't incorporated them at all yet, and it seems like it might be fun to do so. I need a way to get plastic here. We could run conveyors. I've done plenty of conveyors in the local area, but I want to try it and see what the trucks are like. So that might be an intermediate episode between this and manufacturers, before we can effectively do the truck stations. Either I'll have to manually load them up with biomass for the time being, or we can upgrade. That's gonna hurt. We can upgrade to the next milestone. I think the next milestone, alternative fuel transport, is actually rather achievable. Yeah, that's really quite achievable right now. So I will select that and prepare it. We'll start off next episode by hitting that milestone. I will get those heavy modular frames crafted up, and then we will use our fuel packing, and we're going to spend next episode off-site, mostly, over where we produce petroleum products, over in that direction. I'm pretty excited for that. Actually, I want to start recording it right now, but I can't because I need to cut this video together. So until then, thank you for watching. I am Musical Mayhem, this is Satisfactory, and I'll see you in the next episode.